As you know, this is a moment of enormous importance. This is a moment where a number of processes are ongoing. In particular, there is a very important effort between the United States and the Islamic Republic of Iran. I'm in constant contact with Ambassador Witkoff, of course, at the same time consulting with Foreign Minister Araghchi in order to provide the technical support that and capabilities and monitoring potential that the IAEA should be able to exercise. Because as you know, and I think the Minister has evoked that, without this kind of capability to check and see that what is agreed on paper is really observed, this would be just a piece of paper. So this is a very urgent moment, as the Minister just said. It's not a matter of months or years, it's perhaps a matter of weeks, whether we can really come to something that is doable, is feasible, and above all, avoids the specter of more military conflicts in this world and in a region that I don't need to explain to you how volatile it is at this moment. So, encore une fois, Monsieur le Ministre, merci pour cet engagement de la France qui est permanent, de vous-même, du Président de la République, et cette possibilité qui est donnée à l'AIEA de faire sa partie dans cette importante question pour la paix et la sécurité internationale. Merci.
Thank you. It's Pamela Falk from U.S. News and World Report. For Minister Barrot, what is the view of France of having a bilateral Iran agreement instead of a multilateral one? Does it serve the European Union? And to Director General Grossi, what are the next steps to secure Zaporizhzhia? Will a ceasefire help? Thank you.
So what serves the interests of Europe is for Iran never to have a bomb. And that's why we support and we encourage the ongoing discussions between the US and Iran. We're coordinating closely with Marco Rubio and Steve Witkoff, because as you know, we're getting closer and closer every week to the expiration of the JCPOA. And so Europeans that remained within the framework of the JCPOA we'll have an important decision to make by the summer, the decision to reapply the sanctions that were lifted 10 years ago. And this, of course, will depend on the commitments that Iran is willing to make. What we're sensing is willingness on both parts to reach an agreement that would lead to a concrete, tangible, and verifiable rollback of Iran's nuclear program. We also call upon upon Iran to roll back and to stop its regional destabilization actions. And we hope that the ongoing discussions will be fruitful and lead to concrete decisions. Since you mentioned the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, I also want to commend the IAEA for the outstanding work that they've been doing to secure what is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe, and that has been the target of Russian strikes in recent months, and that will need to be sort of curated in order for it to start back, because it will be a key component of Ukraine's sovereignty going forward.
Thank you very much. On this issue of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, as Minister Barrot just reminded us, the IAEA has been playing a very active role since 2022, where I personally set up a permanent presence of IAEA experts, and we are trying there to avoid a nuclear accident that would add to the tragedy of the war that we are seeing. I must say that until there is some form of cessation of military activities, and it can have different shapes and forms, and it can be a ceasefire or a peace agreement. Until that happens, there is military activity around this huge facility, and we could be confronted with something very, very serious. We know that, and this has also been discussed with Ambassador Witkoff, we know that in their considerations of this item, which is part of a different track of diplomacy, the fate and what's going to happen with the nuclear power plant has been considered. Because it has many different aspects. We have the situation of the plant now, as the minister rightly says. If there is going to be a restart of the plant, we have to make sure that the conditions are there. This is a huge facility that has been at what we call, in the technical jargon, at cold shutdown. It hasn't been working for a long time, so you have to make sure that it is safely, it can be restarted safely. We also know that there is a political discussion that might involve what is going to happen with the plant. Let's never forget that this plant is at the front line. It is in Russian-controlled territory. We have to be reminded of that, so there's going to be an important negotiation there. But in any case, the IAEA is there, has been there for this past almost 3 years, so we have a very clear idea of what is going on there, and I'm sure we'll be called to play a role there in order to make sure that this plant is going to be there, playing a constructive role in the future of this, hopefully, appeased part of the world.
Thank you. One last question. Hi, Associated Press. Director Grossi, can you talk about what the discussions have been between the IAEA and Iran in recent weeks? Iran has said that you guys have discussed reinstallation of monitoring equipment that has not been there for several years now. How are you guys approaching these conversations in a technical term when you do not know what has been happening given the lack of monitoring?
Let me clarify one thing. We are there, we are inspecting there. It's not as if we have been completely blinded, but we have lost a lot in terms of the visibility we used to have before. This is what has led me to say that in the current circumstances, it's very difficult for us to confirm that everything is in good order. So we are discussing with them what is necessary and what they have to explain. This being said, it is obvious that things are interrelated. And when it comes to what is happening in Iran, one hand is looking at what the other hand does, or put more simple, the bilateral process between the United States and Iran, and this process between the agency and Iran have a mutually, could be reinforcing or the contrary influence. So we hope that we can make progress in both of them in synchronicity and hopefully in a good way.
Has Iran provided any assurances or concessions that it's willing to give the IAEA as part of
Well, they say so, but then the devil lies in the details. So I don't doubt their will to help, but then we have to reflect that into concrete actions: cameras, inspectors, places, access to people. There's a whole lot of things that they know they have to do, and I hope they'll take the right decision and allow us to do it. Thank you.
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.